What's up, you guys? I'm calling this a shorts and it's feed in braids. I'm just gonna do a couple of them quick, fast, and in a hurry at regular speed. But it's gonna be just a quick, really fast tutorial. That's why I'm calling it shorts. So basically, you guys, when I'm doing the feed in braids, all I'm doing is if you already know how to cornrow hair, if you know how to do a cornrow braid, that's basically all I'm doing. Like when someone does the feed in braids, all we doing is cornrowing the hair. We doing a cornrow braid. So if you already know how to do the cornrow braid, then you already know pretty much how to do the feed in braids. The only difference is when you're doing the feed in braids, you still doing a cornrow, but all you doing is adding the hair under that finger. I'm going to show you. You see my nails are green, so you see those two fingers right there? I'm going to put a piece of hair in between those two fingers. Watch me. You see those two fingers right there? I'm going to take a piece of hair. I'm going to stick it in between those two fingers, and I'm going to keep cornrowing. That's all the feed in braids are. So if you know how to do a cornrow already without adding hair, then the feed in braid is just doing a cornrow but sticking a piece of hair in between those two fingers that you saw. Now you can go on YouTube and you can watch other braiders do their feed in braids, and everybody does it differently. But for me, all some of the way that they add the hair in, where they lay it over, cross it over, go back, grab it, to me that's too much. So if you know how to do a cornrow without adding hair, then all you do is a cornrow, but you put in some hair, a small amount of hair, depending on the size that you want the braid. You putting it in between those two fingers that you saw. And with my nail color being neon green, that makes it way easier for you to see what I'm doing. So once you get down to the end of the braid, the end of the scalp braid, and then you start plaiting down, which is what I'm doing now. I'm plaiting it. So you just start plaiting. You don't really have to add any more hair. The only time you're going to see me add hair to the plait, like what I'm doing now, only way you're going to see me add hair to the plait is if I want the braid, the plait, and to be longer. If I want it longer, I can extend it by adding some more hair to the plait. So like what I'm doing right now, I'm plaiting it down. So if I wanted this braid to be long, like waist length, butt length, or whatever, I just take some more braiding hair and I add it into the plait. I'm not going to do that today, but this is a brief, very brief feed in. So, I mean, I'm self-taught on it, and I did look on YouTube. I got a mannequin and all of that, but I've been doing them now for a couple of years or so. And it looks hard, and if you watch other people do it on YouTube, it's going to look kind of hard or a challenge. Because the way some people add the hair in, where they take it, they put it between their finger, they cross it over, they go back and grab it later. That's a lot. To me, that's too much. And being a hairstylist, and especially doing braids, your fingers and back and arms and legs and feet, are already sore. So the last thing that I want to do, to each his own, but the last thing that I want to do is add, more steps to what I'm doing. So for me, all of that adding, throwing the hair over, crossing it over, grabbing it later, all of that, to me, that's just, that's not user friendly. That's a great way for me to say it. So to me, that's not user friendly. And to each his own. I'm not downing or bashing or throwing anybody under the bus. I'm just saying for me, if you already know how to do the cornrow, then pretty much you know how to do the feed in. Because the only difference is you're going to just add some hair in between those two fingers. And you still going to keep it tight, taut when you're braiding down, just like you would if you were not adding hair. So it's easy. It's not hard. So the reason I have this tutorial on here, because one of my clients was asking, somebody asked about tutorials. So as I had mentioned in a previous, I think the last video I uploaded, a couple of videos ago, I was saying that I was going to start back doing some tutorials, but they're going to be basic tutorials. I'm also going to add, I'm going to start adding some in-depth tutorials, but those are going to be a fee. I'm not sure what the fees are going to be, but I'm going to have to record one for the feed in braids, because right now you see me doing just a quick tutorial. But for those who will be viewing my basic tutorials and want to see a more in-depth tutorial, then you will be able to click on a link and you will be able to pay a small fee, not too pricey, and you will be able to pretty much learn it a little better and more detail. So as I said, you just doing a basic cornrow like you always do, and then you just putting some hair in between those two green, neon green fingers. See those two fingers right there? You see them? So all I'm going to do is grab some hair and put it in between those two fingers. You just have to make sure you hold everything tight. Now this is a mannequin, so it's a little bit more of a challenge when you're doing anything on a mannequin, as opposed to a real live person. So, but it's just those two fingers that you see. And so whenever I'm braiding hair and I'm adding hair to the braid, I tend to, you see how I'm kind of pulling my fingers all the way through to the ends of the hair? Because when you're doing feed in braids and you're adding hair, the hair can tend to kind of tangle. So I try to almost pull my fingers all the way through the hair. You see how I'm doing? Almost like combing through the hair with my fingers. Because if you don't, pretty much the hair can tangle up and then you can pretty much be fighting with the hair. So now I'm down to the end of the head pretty much. So now I'm going to start plaiting. So you just turn your hands over and you just start plaiting. That's it. Basic feed in braid tutorial real quick, and I'm calling it a shorts. And I will be recording a more detailed one. When I do, I will add the link to the description below. And then you will be able to click on it and purchase a video, and you will be able to view it, and it will be more in depth for those who are trying to learn how to do feed in braids. That's what I'm going to be doing from now on with my tutorials. I just got to get it started. Once I get it started, then we'll be good. So you just saw me do those two. Again, that's the method that I use, and I personally feel like that's the easiest method. If you like what you see on my channel, do me a huge favor, smash the subscription to subscribe. If you like what you see on my channel and you think you might want to see more, if you have any suggestions about tutorials, drop it down below in the comments. And thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Please be safe. See you soon.